worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from Mercedes-Benz at Baton Rouge Studio downtown in the capital city on this Football Friday. Means we're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Jacob Beck, Cassie Spazali back there on the ones and twos. Could not be more fired up for you to be with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. If you're driving around in the capital city currently, it's nasty. It's wet. Be careful. Stay dry. Stay safe. And let's have a heck of a Friday afternoon. If your work week is over, I salute you. I applaud you. If it's not yet, we will get you to the finish line here on this Friday. LSU and Clemson tomorrow night. You know it. You're ready for it. We'll do our part to help get you even more ready for that over the next 2 hours. Preston Guy with us in 15 minutes. And I'll be quite candid with you. I'm going to talk a lot about LSU and Clemson today. I care a lot about LSU and Clemson. I don't care as much about the other things going on. And I'm going to talk about LSU and Clemson a lot because I feel like I have a lot to say about LSU and Clemson. So we'll get to all of that. We will certainly do my SEC picks against the spread. Just a white-hot start for me last night in Columbia, Missouri. Nailed that pick. We're 1-0 on the season. You can't do any better than that. We'll do that at 2 o'clock. We'll have some take it or leave it. My final pick for Tigers and Tigers at the end of the show this afternoon. So let's get things started the way we do every single day. That is with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
All right, we broke the news yesterday that A.J. Haulcy would potentially not be available for LSU, but we didn't know by the time we got off the air yesterday. We now do know. So I'm going to do the unimportant part first, and then I'll do the important part second, if that sounds good to y'all. Here's the unimportant part. A lot of LSU fans, not all of LSU fans, there are differing opinions on this entire matter, but there are a number of LSU fans that are saying, oh, Clemson, you're twerps, you're scared, you're Bush League, they called LSU in, Dabo's a snake oil salesman, I'm ticked off at Clemson, screw you. This shouldn't be a thing. They're trying to wiggle their way out of helping LSU's better defender player out there. Like, I'm not really on board with all that. Here's what I know. I know he was ejected from the game, and I know that a fighting ejection carries a suspension. I know that Houston didn't play in a bowl game. I know that LSU is A.J. Haulcy's next game. Do I know whether or not it was unsportsmanlike on the field or fighting? No, I don't. Do I know that the Big 12 made a change? No, I don't. Do I know that Houston called Clemson to rat on LSU? I do not. Do I know that Clemson held this in their holster until 48 hours to game time and then do it? I do not. I don't know those things. So I'm not going to get up in arms about them. I'm just not. You can. It's perfectly within your right to get up in arms about them. I'm not going to operate that way. Here's what I do want to operate in. A.J. Haulcy's not going to play in the first half for LSU. What does that mean? And because of the fact that we have gotten such essentially unfettered access to LSU practice in fall camp, I feel like I've got a significant amount of information to pass on to many of you that have not been at practice. And so what I have seen at practice is that A.J. Haulcy is the best safety on the team. I see his instincts as being the best. I see his quickness as being the best. And then I go to the statistics that he's put on paper for the last 3 years, and that matches up. There's a reason why I told you the first week of fall camp, A.J. Haulcy is going to start. He was not working with the first team at that point. I said A.J. Haulcy will start because all of these things added up to a starter to me. And very quickly, in August, by week 3, A.J. Haulcy was getting all the number 1 reps at safety. So the guy that you will be missing in the first half is important to the defense. Absolutely. And the guy that you will have in the second half is important to the defense. He's not suspended for the whole game. He's not hurt. He can't play the first 30 minutes. He will help in the second half. It hurts you not to have him in the first half. Okay, how badly does it hurt you not to have him in the first half? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Tamarcus Cooley will be one of the safeties back there, and then you will have one of 3 players filling in for Haulcy. It'll be Javian Toviano. It'll be Jordan Gilbert. It'll be Deshaun Spears. I cannot tell you right now what that order is going to look like. Now, Brian Kelly does some interesting things with names and position groups at the podium in press conferences. At times, he fudges names. At times, he forgets a player here or there. I don't really care about that, but I know that it happens. He called Josh Thompson Justin Thompson a week and a half ago. He's the right guard. Said Justin instead of Josh. Whatever. Don't care. But he did say Deshaun Spears' name first yesterday. Could be a clue as to what LSU's trying to do. Maybe just a coincidence, and that's the first guy he thought of. Deshaun Spears is big and can really run. I have no idea about his instincts, and I really don't know a lot about his tackling ability. What I can tell you about Deshaun Spears is that he immediately looked the part when he got to LSU, and I thought this time last year, right before the game against USC, hey, Deshaun Spears is going to play a lot for LSU this year at some point. And he played the last play of the game defensively where USC scored the touchdown last year. And then he really got eased in over the course of the next month. And they had the first bye week. And after the first bye week was Ole Miss. And at that point, the LSU staff, Jake Olson and Blake Baker and Brian Kelly, determined we're going with Jordan Gilbert and Sage Ryan. They're veterans. They're playing. So we're not going with Deshaun Spears. He's going to sit. And we're not going with Kylan Jackson. He's going to sit. And those guys didn't really play the rest of the year. Kylan Jackson transferred out. Deshaun Spears is still here. But he did not do anything over the course of that month to earn playing time over a pair of guys who were veterans and candidly did not play very well last year. Sage Ryan is gone. Jordan Gilbert was hurt last year. Now he's moved in. Jordan Gilbert has moved to star. I don't think that's a ringing endorsement of what they've gotten from him at safety. Because if you've been out to practice, which I have, obviously, you've seen Jordan Gilbert start with the ones as a safety. He was out there with the first team as a safety for the first week and a half. And then he wasn't. And then it was Cooley and it was Haulcy, and Gilbert moved up to the star spot. So clearly you're seeing a separation there in ability and production at practice. Do they move Gilbert back to his old spot? He knows the defense. It's not a new coordinator. It's not a new position coach. He knows that spot. He's capable of playing it. To what level? It wasn't great last year. How much of that was because he was hurt? I can't answer that. I think Toviano's probably third up here. That's my opinion. If he starts the game, I will not be stunned. That's how close I think this 3-man race is. The question is, how badly does it hurt? I got a text from a buddy yesterday that said, hey, why is the line not moved? Well, he's a safety. It's not the quarterback. It's a half. It's not the whole game. I can simultaneously believe that A.J. Haulcy is one of LSU's best defenders and also believe that LSU should have a person capable of going back there, playing safety at an adequate level for 30 minutes of football. And I believe that. This is not, your all-American edge rusher playing against a team with a vulnerable left tackle and an all-American quarterback where you need him to neutralize that. You've got veteran DBs. Stamps is a veteran. Delane's a veteran. Cooley's a veteran. Perkins has been there a while. I'm going to group him into this group as he plays down there at the Star. Gilbert's a veteran. This is not a new group you're putting out there. You don't have to rush a true freshman 3-star to the field. This is not Cal or Purdue. You've got veteran 4-star players, Power 4 transfers that are ready to play safety. I don't believe it's going to be backbreaking to LSU. Now, if you play one of those backup safeties and he's coming down to fill the rush lane off the edge and whiffs on Randall, the running back, and he takes it 65 yards for a touchdown, well, that'll be pretty obvious to all of us go, well, that's not great. If there's a one-on-one coverage spot and Williams goes up and makes a heck of a play and scores a 70-yard touchdown because you didn't have A.J. Haulcy out there, well, we'll be able to diagnose that. I don't anticipate that. I think the guys that LSU has in the secondary are good enough to function. It hurts LSU defensively. It doesn't cripple LSU defensively. And oh, by the way, the other 10 guys that are going to be out there on defense, I think are really, really good. I think this is going to be a small inconvenience on Thursday and Friday, and I think it's going to be a blip on the radar on Saturday. That's what I think. You can call that being a homer. You can call that purple and gold glasses. You can call that naive. I don't think this is going to cripple LSU's chances. I will stand here, actually sit here. I will sit here and tell you I was wrong on Monday if that's the case. And trust me, I realize LSU's safety play last year wasn't good. In fact, it was bad, and Haulcy's brought in to fix that. But we're talking 3 possessions here, 4 possessions here. Just play your assignment. 4 possessions. And this is not something that's been abrupt in the sense of a targeting penalty. You now have the ability to put your minds together as a coaching staff and go, okay, here's what we like to do with AJ here. If we think that we're exposed a little bit at safety, let's change a little bit of how we want to operate. And I realize that can sound like a really big deal, but maybe it's not a huge deal. I think the depth on LSU's defense has insulated it from blips in the radar like this. I think you can recover from Jamari Butler missing a quarter and a half or 2 quarters. I think you can recover from Jacoby and Guillory having an injury. I think you could recover if P.J. Woodland rolled an ankle. Like, you've got depth on this defense. It's now time to show that in the first game. And guess what? When you come out of that halftime locker room, A.J. Haulcy will be ready to go. Last thing on this, because Charles Handegriff and Richard Dixon talked about this on Live at Lunch in one of their first segments. Does it impact the way you handle the coin toss? Because you have a key defensive player who won't be there in the first half, but will be in the second half. Do you want to take the ball in this instance because you want to put your offense out there and maybe you play one less defensive possession without Haulcy? And I understand that line of thinking. I absolutely do. I would not abide by it. I do not want to put LSU's offense in that offensive line, in that hornet's nest, across from that defensive line to start the game. There's jitters. The crowd is at its fever pitch. No. Put the defense out there and let Clemson have to go the length of the field to create something to start the game. Plus, I want the ball to start the second half. I understand the thinking, and I don't think it's unreasonable. There are some things I tell you, that's wrong. Don't do that. This is not that situation. I can understand the other side of the coin. I don't think I would do that. I want the extra possession in the second half. I want the potential to sandwich possessions before halftime and after halftime, and I don't want to put the offense out there in the hornet's nest to start the game. I want the defense out there where the crowd's going to be a little bit subdued and everybody can get their jitters out while LSU's on defense. That's my opinion on it. But we'll see what Brian Kelly likes. He likes to take the football. We'll see. I think the LSU defense is good enough to go ahead and put them out there, even without Haulcy, to start the game. So that's our Genesis opening drive here on this Friday. When we come back, Preston Guy, TigerBait.com, talking LSU Clemson next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Getting a crew over to the house to watch LSU and Clemson. You got to feed that crew, don't you? Corks can help you. Call them today. Say, hey, need to feed about 25 people. They're coming over. Help us out. They are ready to roll. They got that crispy fried catfish, jumbo gulp shrimp, crispy shoestring fries. They've got all the fixins with your sauces, your coleslaw, your honey butter roll. just check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. See the deals that they've got for you in terms of catering. Paul and Michael, who started Kuyon's across the river, have cut their teeth in the catering business. Kuyon's is fantastic at it. They brought that over to Corks as well. So if you've got a watch party that's coming together and you're just now thinking, I really don't want to cook, I'd rather just pick something up, Corks can help you out with it. Check out that menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. If you want to get some dinner tonight, Corks is a great option. Government between Foster and Jefferson, corksfishandshrimp.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family-owned and community-driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
You're listening to The Hun Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
edition of the Hunt Palmer Show brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Let's go out to the Jim's Farms hotline. Preston Guy from TigerBait.com with us on Fridays. We got Preston all year round on Fridays, but these seem to be more important conversations as we finally got a football game to talk about. Let's do it, Preston. How are you?
I am so glad we don't have to call and talk about. So what you think about the defensive tackles next year? It's football time, baby.
It surely is. Are you mad at Clemson?
No, I mean you do what you can do to win a football game. I mean, it is. I would say if I'm mad at anybody, it's the NCAA. But I have nothing more than speculation. It doesn't seem right that LSU could have just been completely blindsided by this. Clemson had no idea until some reporter, who's actually a pretty well-respected reporter, I just don't know who he is, for Clemson, put this out there into the air, and then, look, for 48 hours, someone had to know. Whether that was LSU knew and just hoped the NCAA would never say anything, and it's, again, speculation, I have no idea, or Clemson was saving it in their back pocket, I don't know. All I know is you're missing your starting safety for a top 10 matchup on the road, and that's not ideal. However, I will say this compared to how noisy some off seasons have been, it has been a relatively quiet off season, and it is good to see. Outside of him, you're relatively unscathed going into this game.
For sure. Let's talk about his replacement. I said in my opening segment, I don't have a strong lean between Toviano, Spears, and Gilbert going back to safety. I wouldn't be stunned if any of them play. Do you have a different take on that? Who do you think is going to be out there first?
I might go Spears just because he kind of shows you the most raw talent, most physical ability. But I also, Hunt, would not be surprised if they're rotating these guys because they're that close. I would probably lean toward it being of Spears and Gilbert. Maybe they go with Gilbert because he was a starter last year and he's got that experience. But don't be surprised if you see a number of guys. And in fact, don't be surprised if they're using them situationally. Like in this defensive set, we're going that guy. This defensive set, we're going that guy. I would say it's a by committee approach. That would be my best guess.
Look, this exact staff, same safeties coach, same defensive coordinator, went with the veterans last year, went with Major Burns, went with Sage Ryan, went with Jordan Gilbert. That tends to lean towards Jordan if you think that's kind of the way that they're going to operate this time around. But again, it's a different group of players, so we'll see what they decide to do. What does Clemson do offensively that you think gives LSU some significant concern?
Well, Klubnik can throw the ball around. Make no mistake about it. And being down defensive back, and I would argue your defensive backfield, I think your linebackers and D-line are going to be very strong, so this comment is not a shot at them, but I think it was the weakest of your major units on defense. So I would be worried about Klubnik throwing it around. They do have some talented receivers, and Klubnik is arguably the best quarterback in the country. I know Nussmeier also has a good argument for that as well, but Klubnik threw, I think, 36 touchdowns last year, so he's no slouch.
Yeah, 36 touchdowns, 6 picks. Of the passers that threw for 3,500 yards, he tied for the fewest interceptions. He had a good year last year for sure. I'm curious your thoughts on the LSU DBs in general, what you've seen in camp compared to the last couple of years where I've written this and I've said this. LSU's pass defense was terrible the last 2 years statistically and in big spots. Do you think they're better?
Yeah, no, I think 11 for 11 is better, and that's even without Haulcy. I still think whoever's back there, I mean, you're talking about the two guys who you had last year plus a year of experience. So I think 11 for 11 are going to be improved this year. So, I think you should see substantial uptick in quality of play.
How about the defensive front against a very veteran Clemson offensive line, against the run, pass rush? Where do you lean there?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. You broke up on me.
Yeah, good. LSU's defensive front against a very veteran Clemson offensive line. Got a lot of starts there. How do you feel they stand up against the run as well as rush the passer when that opportunity comes?
Yeah, it's a veteran defensive front for Clemson, but Hunt, I actually have borderline unrealistic expectations for this defensive line. I think it's going to be a very, very good unit. I love what I see, particularly out of their edge rushers, and Good and what he brought this fall camp, he turned my head more so than I was expecting. So I think you're going to have a very good defensive line that's up for the task. It'll be certainly a great challenge, but I don't think Klubnik's going to sit back there and just have 5 and 6 seconds to throw. I think LSU is going to bring the heat, and I think the talent they have at linebacker also assists with that.
All right, let's go to the offensive side. In terms of identity, do you think this offense kind of looks the same as last year, or do they need to make a shift?
No, I mean, I didn't see much in fall camp to show me that there won't be wrinkles. I mean, it should be very different. I mean, we've seen all sorts of different packages. My anticipation would be certainly within the 30-yard marker, which is where the struggles just absolutely just LSU imploded at times once they got inside that 30-yard line. I would anticipate that that's where the offense starts to look drastically different. And, of course, the other 70 yards of the field, I just expect that they're going to be able to call a more balanced game. I think Caden Durham, we're not waiting for him to emerge. He's emerged, and he looked like a threat all fall camp long. Harlem Berry looks strong. Caleb Jackson is still there. And I think, hopefully, I know this might sound crazy, but hopefully your offensive line is slightly better at run blocking, albeit not realistic to say they'll be better pass blockers, but hopefully they're a little better at opening lanes. But against Clemson, that might be a far-fetched dream because they have an insanely good defensive line.
They do. They had those guys last year and they couldn't stop the run. That's been my biggest question in this pregame study that we've done. I've asked multiple Clemson beat writers and radio guys about it, and their consensus is that the defensive coordinator was terrible and Tom Allen's going to fix it all. I'm skeptical of that too. I'm curious what this defensive line, they're great rushing the passer. What can they do in terms of stopping the run? How's your confidence in LSU's ability to run the ball tomorrow?
I mean, again, you can nitpick on that all you want. LSU was abysmal.
Yes.
At run blocking last year. I mean, just horrid at run blocking. And that's with 4 NFL linemen. Now you have to wonder, okay, you're going to possibly roll out 5 new offensive linemen. And ideally, just by reshuffling the die and getting them 5 new guys, like hopefully the run blocking is better, but we just don't know. And Hunt, I'm going to just be frank, at fall camp, I'm not sure I saw too much to inspire confidence. Even if this D-line is a more pass-rushing-centric D-line. I don't know, Hunt. I don't know if you can expect it. Here's what I'm hoping. My hope is that they're able to get a push and get 100 yards rushing in this game. I think if you can run for 100 yards, that means your offense isn't clunky. That means you're able to convert short yardage situations. If you go out and you're running for less than 50 yards, man, you cannot rely on, Nussmeier throwing it 50 times in a game every time and win good football games on the road.
Because a couple of those are going to go to the wrong team, throw it that many times, which is kind of like what we saw in College Station. Again, what's your confidence level in Nussmeier's decision-making on Saturday night?
Yeah, I would say higher than the previous question. Nussmeier's a fifth-year veteran. Last year was his first year starting, and, of course, he made mistakes, particularly in games against quality defenses. And when the defense made him improvise, there was a few times where he just needed to tuck and run, take a sack maybe even, or throw the ball away, and he just was forcing things that weren't there oftentimes last year. I think it's really – mostly it's his improvisation that gets him in trouble. If you look at his film last year, it really wasn't a ton of, man, that guy was open. He just missed that throw. It's like he's on the run, panicking, putting something together, and he just threw it up to a guy who was in coverage, or he threw it to the running back while he's running and failed the running back because he's running out of the pocket. You got to work on the improvisation plays, and I think that they are working on getting him to address, hey, man, tuck it and run. I don't care if you get 2 yards. That's much better than, throwing a pick there. So I think Nussmeier will cut down on his turnovers. I expect we're going to see 8 or less interceptions just based on, improvement of play. Nussmeier, he's got that family connection to watching film. I think he will cut down on turnovers. Now, I mean, that's not to say he won't throw a single pick against Clemson, but hopefully we can avoid a multi-turnover implosion.
All right, I'll give you 2 bullet points on this one. You can use them however you'd like. LSU wins on Saturday night if?
LSU wins on Saturday night if they can consistently push and run the ball. That's what I say. If you run for 125, I think the rest of the team is good enough to win this game. And there is a strong part of me that looks at, man, Clemson was 0-3 against the SEC last year, including South Carolina, who LSU beat. And I really do feel like LSU brought in more talent than Clemson did in this offseason. So there's part of me that wants to believe it, but then you look at the matchup. Their D-line's elite. Your O-line is suspect. You're on the road. Brian Kelly hasn't shown me much in openers. Hey, how about that for another? If they look organized like they have their T's crossed and I's dotted, they haven't had that in 5 years, then they'll win this game.
All right. If they win, we're going to be throwing a party around here around Monday and feeling like LSU's got a great chance to be a college football playoff contender. If they lose, is it big trouble?
Well, it looks pretty bleak based on history. I was trying to find the last national champion not to win their opener. You got to go back to 91. Colorado, who was a split champion, they tied in their opener. So I don't know that there's ever been someone to lose their opener and go on to win a championship. So that's a pretty damning statement. However, I mean, you could still win your conference. 12 teams make the playoffs. I think the 12-team playoff changes a lot of that. So I would say your hopes are still alive if you lose this game.
Tell everybody what y'all got going on at Tiger Bait this weekend.
Man, it is a crazy, chaotic week. Make sure to tune in to the Tiger Bait YouTube channel. Mike and I will be going live shortly thereafter the game. So we'll be putting all our stories on TigerBait.com. Tons of good stuff coming on. Y'all make sure to just tune in to TigerBait.com where you can find everything.
Enjoy the weekend of football, Preston. We'll talk next week. Thanks, man.
See you soon, Hunt.
TigerBait.com's Preston Guy with us on Fridays. Take a time out. When we come back, 32 bold predictions for the NFL. What's the Saints' bold prediction? We'll talk about it from ESPN next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. If you're sitting there at the office or driving around thinking, what am I going to do tonight? What am I going to do this weekend? How about Swing Easy Golf Club? Get some friends. Go on over to Swing Easy Golf Club on Segan right there by Perkins. Book a tee time and go in there and hang out. Hit some golf balls, play one of your favorite dream courses on the simulator, watch some football, drink some cold beer, have some wine, and just hang out at Swing Easy Golf Club. It's a fantastic place. Blow off a little steam in a comfortable, fun environment with your friends. I tell you every day that you can go in there and work on your game on the driving range, and you can do that this weekend too, but it kind of feels like a holiday weekend, a fun weekend. Pop in there and just have some fun. Go play Pebble Beach or Cypress Point on the simulator. Play St. Andrews on the simulator with some friends. Bring your clubs, drink some beer. It's always a great time at Swing Easy Golf Club. Memberships are available, both personal and corporate memberships. You like to entertain clients there. But go by and see it. It's brand new. The odds are if you're driving around, you've never been to Swing Easy Golf Club, go see them. Segan right there at Perkins at Swing Easy Golf Club. Check them out online at swingeasygcbr.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
My SEC picks against the spread coming up at the top of the hour, about 25 minutes from right now. ESPN.com has a piece up on the NFL homepage that is bold predictions for every team in the NFL. And I was reading through a few of them, but obviously the one that we're going to stick on here is the one for the Saints. And I would not suggest that this is the boldest take I've ever seen. And that's okay. You don't have to say something ridiculous to get people to click it. But essentially what the take is that Spencer Rattler is going to get a pretty long leash as the Saints starting quarterback. And again, I don't think that's some sort of massive hot take that's being doled out here. The genesis of the story says, look, that Rattler won a lot of people over. He's outperformed expectations early. If he plays like he did in the preseason, don't be surprised if there's a long rope for Shuck. It does mention that Shuck is older than your average rookie. When you're talking about a player that's 27 years old, you would like to get them to the field pretty quickly. But don't be surprised if Rattler is given a very long leash. And I wanted to kind of comment not on the validity of that take, but more so on, okay, let's just toss about some hypotheticals about when Tyler Shough may get a shot. Because I've said this. I expected Rattler to get the start. I would be stunned, flat line stunned, if Tyler Shough does not start a game this year. Because I think the only way that would happen is if Rattler played excellent football and the Saints were right in the thick of the playoff hunt to win the division. In which case, you've got a great situation on your hands. That's a great thing. My gut tells me it's probably going to be pretty bumpy. I think there are going to be some losses, as I think we all do. And I think eventually you're going to want to get a look at the guy that you drafted in the second round. And that's just normal quarterback handling by any organization. So I looked at the schedule, and as I look at the schedule, starting Rattler makes even more sense when you look at the schedule. I think it makes sense to start Spencer Rattler in the opener just because he's been out there before and he started games in the NFL, and Tyler Shough has never seen that. So you start him in the two opening games that are at home against Arizona and San Francisco. Then in weeks 3 and 4, you go play at two of the most difficult places to play in the NFL. It's very difficult to play in Seattle because it's loud. And it's very difficult to play at Buffalo because they're just really good. And those are weeks 3 and 4. I think at that point in week 5, if you're really not going well, I think that would be a reasonable time to go to Tyler Shough in week 5 with the Giants at home and then the Patriots at home. That's a fairly soft landing spot for Shough for his first 2 starts October 5th, October 12th, a month into his rookie season. But if that's not where you put him in, I think you might look to the bye week, quite honestly, and that is at week 11. The Saints have a relatively late bye week here. They're going to play 10 weeks in a row. But you tell me, beyond what I just went through, where the good spot is to toss Shuck in. Because you start with Arizona and San Francisco at home, and you figure that's going to be Rattler, obviously. You're at Seattle and at Buffalo. I'm throwing Rattler into those games. If it's not New York and it's not New England, at that point, afterwards, you're at Chicago, which is a decently tough place to play. And I think that's going to be a pretty decent football team. They got a brutal division, so they're not going to be a playoff team, but they should be decent. Then you've got Tampa at home, who's the best team in your division. Then you're on the road at the Rams, and you're on the road at Carolina. I realize that Carolina's not going to be great. The Rams should be pretty good. The Rams got after you in a practice session, we're told. So that's not a great spot to put him in against that front. I think the bye week, because after the bye week, you're home against Atlanta. Then you're at Miami. That's not exactly a hornet's nest, play in Miami. You're at Tampa, which is not great, but then you're home for Carolina and the Jets. I think that's 3 out of 5 at home, and one of the road games is Miami. I think there are 2 spots to get Tyler Shuck in comfortably. Week 5 for Giants, Patriots back-to-back at home in weeks 5 and 6, or week 12 after the bye, home Atlanta. I think those are the most likely. Now, as I always say, very rarely does anything go exactly according to plan. And if you're making a change, things aren't going great. And I'm not here to suggest you're just going to continue to play out the string and let games go and go as you roll up losses. And again, the reason I'm saying this is not because I think the Saints are going to lose every game. If they're playing great, there is no quarterback change. There's nothing to talk about. So the entire genesis of this conversation is when things go poorly, this is what we have to talk about. And I feel like tossing them in there at Chicago, then against Tampa at home, and then at the Rams in that defensive front, that's just a bad spot. That's a bad spot to put a first-time quarterback in. So I think I've kind of pigeonholed it into, okay, if it's a disastrous start, you go week 5. If it's not a disaster, but it is a little bit bumpy and you're ready to get another look, week 12. I think that's it, because I think that you've got a nice runway of manageable opponents starting week 12. Keep in mind, the Saints are playing a last place schedule. You've got you and Carolina were the worst. So at this point, you don't know what's going to happen with quarterback management. I think Spencer Rattler does have a leash with his team. I don't think they're purely going to Spencer Rattler to save Shuck. I think there is some intrigue in the way that he's played. I think he's probably outperformed some of the expectation within the organization, because if they had high expectation for Spencer Rattler, they're probably not taking a quarterback in the second round. I think they took a quarterback in the second round to compete with Rattler, and they're probably impressed with what Rattler's done to win that job. Then at this point, okay, when does it become that time? And I think that's it. My personal take on this, if you're making me throw a dart at the wall to figure out when this quarterback change is going to come, if it does, I would say week 12. I think you give Tyler Shuck the last 7 games of the season. At that point, you saw 10 games of Rattler. You saw 7 games of Shuck. I don't know what your record is at that point, but at that point, you feel like you've got a reasonable sample size of both. There aren't a lot of question marks as to how quarterback A and quarterback B operate Kellen Moore's system at that point. You've gotten a sizable sample size from both. And I think that is one of the goals of this season, is to get a sizable sample size from both quarterbacks unless Rattler takes it and absolutely runs. That's the goal. So that's what I think the Saints are going to have to try to put in front of them. I'm always curious about conversations like this internally. I'm curious if NFL organizations run like they do press conferences where they're just saying, hey, we're committed to Rattler. We're going to go out there and win week 1, and that's what we're committed to right now, winning in week 1. Or if there is a meeting between Kellen Moore and Doug Nussmeier and Mickey Loomis, and they sit around and go, okay, we're going to get a look at these quarterbacks. We feel like, the odds that they're great are not awesome. You got a late round pick in Rattler and a second round pick in Shuck, and He's not played before. So, like, we really need to evaluate these guys. Like, yeah, we'd like to win, but we need to evaluate. Like, I don't think that meeting happens. I would love it if it did. It sounds to me like it'd be sound planning if it did happen, but I don't know. Maybe they're just as focused as they say in press conferences. Rattler's our quarterback. Shuck's the backup. We're going to play Arizona. And if that's all you're looking at as an organization, I think that's a little bit short-sighted, but I understand. That's what you say in press conferences too. If you're letting Hunt decide, let Rattler play for 10 weeks, evaluate that. If you need to make a change, do it the bye week. Let Shuck play the last 7. Let's see what you got. That's my take on how to handle the quarterback situation this year. Of course, wins and losses matter. Of course, injuries happen. Of course, evaluating guys based on the surrounding cast and how that injury situation plays out like it did last year, which was terrible, matters. But I think that there needs to be some discussion about a roadmap to getting Tyler Shuck to the field ultimately if things get bumpy, and I think that kind of lays it out right there. So that's your look at the New Orleans Saints here on this Friday. No practice for the Saints today. They'll get a little bit of work in this weekend, and then they'll report for duty, get ready to roll, starting with the practice on Tuesday and Wednesday for their opener at home against Arizona on CBS a week from Sunday at noon. If you're looking for our Saints content, check it out. Hunt on Saints, wherever you find your podcast. And Ross Jackson got them covered over there at LouisianaSports.net. LSU lost a 5-star yesterday. What does it mean? We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
You're listening to The Hun Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, closing up hour number 1 here. Just a little bit of news. Wanted to kind of shoehorn this into the end of the hour. Tristan Keys, 5-star receiver, number 1 wide receiver in the nation, decommitted from LSU, committed to Clemson. Not Clemson. Got Clemson on the mind. Got Orange on the mind. Flipped to Tennessee yesterday. This was a long time in the making. Keys had committed to LSU in March. He had been taking visits. He had been to Miami officially. He had been to A&M officially. He had visited Ole Miss 6 times. He had been to Tennessee a number of times as well. And the feeling was that this was pretty imminent. I'll tell you that this was so not shocking that GoVols 24/7 had a podcast uploaded immediately when it happened. Not like, oh, we recorded this when it happened. Like, it was already ready to go, and they knew. Candidly, there may have been a story written on LouisianaSports.net a couple days ago. Like, this was very much expected over the last 48 hours. It's very disappointing for LSU to have that happen to a high-profile member of your class. You do have 2 very, very highly thought of Louisiana wide receivers in your class with Kenny Darby from Airline and Jabari Mack from down in New Orleans. But Keys was the crown jewel of your wide receiver class. Big size, great speed, and a guy from Mississippi. You've had a lot of success recruiting the state of the Mississippi over the years, but it felt like the writing was on the wall that he was going to move on, and he did. So you're not left without wide receivers. You've got a couple, and you've recruited a couple in each of the last 2 classes. You're going to have a lot of playing time available at wide receiver next year, however, because Aaron Anderson is going to move on. Chris Hilton is going to move on. Barian Brown is going to move on. Nick Anderson is likely to go, even though he could come back. I mean, he could come back. If he doesn't have a very good year, he may not be very draftable. If he has a great year, he's going to go move on. Kyle Parker is expected back, and you've got some of those young guys like Kylan Billiot, like Teron Francis, those guys. So you've got some young players that haven't had a lot of experience, but you're going to lose a lot of your key pass catchers from this team. You thought maybe Keys could be a guy that immediately comes in and competes for a little bit of playing time at wide receiver. Appears he will be on Rocky Top instead of here in Baton Rouge. So LSU's class takes a bit of a hit there with a 5-star. Again, it's not as visceral a reaction as like Bryce Underwood, because you felt like it was potentially coming. And to be quite frank, you still got 3.5 months until he signs on the dotted line. He could go anywhere. This is a guy who has very much seen a lot of places, has shown interest in a lot of places, is okay with leaving home, clearly, if he committed to LSU and Tennessee from the state of Mississippi. So this recruitment's probably not over. We'll see how the next few months go, what kind of NIL packages are put together, and where Keys decides he wants to be. But LSU was at a pretty high-profile commitment class with a number of 5-stars there, and Keys decides to move along. So we'll see if LSU can fill with another wide receiver, or if they look elsewhere. But wanted to kind of shoehorn that into the end of the hour. Beck, you got a pen handy over there?
Let's see. I think I can find one, maybe?
You might be able to do. I was going to give you some information on this question I'm going to ask you in the last 2 minutes of the hour.
Okay, go ahead.
I've got a poll that's up. I asked how LSU fans are feeling on Twitter in terms of confidence.
Okay.
I've got the percentages that each of the votes has gotten. I want to see if you can identify what percentage goes with what.
All right.
The leader's 36%.
Okay.
Second place is 29%.
All right.
Third place is 24%.
Okay.
Last place is 11%.
All right, and so what are those options again?
Your options are, and I would win in order of confidence, Tigers by 100, so feeling incredible. Feeling good. Feel okay, but bad matchup. And then 6 straight opening L. How do you think those played out?
Okay, I'm going to say LSU by 100. I'm going to say 29.
Nope.
24.
Nope.
Wow. 36?
Nope.
I'm going to say, I was there's no way.
Tigers by 100 is last. It's
I knew
11%.
there was no way it was the top. I would be
last.
shocked by that. And then I would guess.
What do you think the top is?
The top is probably feel good, but it's a bad matchup.
Feel okay, but bad matchup leads
Yeah.
the way at 36%. It's moving, so the numbers aren't the same as I just gave you. But feel okay, but bad matchup is first. What's second?
Second is probably probably they're gonna lose, but they'll be all right.
No, the other 6 straight opening L or feeling good are the only 2 left.
Okay. 6 straight is probably the second highest.
Nope, feeling good, but still,
okay.
People that think they're going to lose. That's 59% say an L. Interesting. That's it for hour number 1. We'll come back with some SEC picks against the spread. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that is on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. They just go the extra mile at Genesis, and it's so great to work with great people, right? And you're going to do that with Genesis. You go in, their brand ambassadors are going to treat you like a guest, not a customer. They're there to help you. They think about every single detail. That includes building a climate control room to bring the cars in out of the 5,000-degree parking lot so that you can look over all the features without standing in the sun. It's that kind of customer service that goes with an incredible line of vehicles that separates Genesis. You've probably never been behind the wheel of a Genesis. You've probably never been to Airline at PQ to their facility. When the time comes for you to get behind the wheel of a new vehicle, which may be right now and it may be a year from now, check them out at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Their Airline at PQ, the entire inventory is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service.
This is
is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Patriots releasing veteran safety Jabril Peppers in a surprising shakeup on the back end of their defense. It's not often that Ohio State is favored by less than 3 points at Ohio Stadium, but that currently is the case for the defending national champs versus top-ranked Texas tomorrow in one of the most talked-about matchups in years. OSU 1.5-point favorite at ESPN Bet. It's a game that'll be a great test for the Buckeyes, notes their coach, Ryan Day.
Extremely excited to play in this game. I mean, Texas is excellent. You know, they're super talented. They're very well coached. I think Sark does a great job. I think their coaches do a great job. Certainly, Arch is a tremendous player, and they have great players in all three phases. But, you know, for us, week one, to get some real feedback on where we are to kind of start our journey into this season is going to be tremendous.
Ryan Day on the Pat McAfee Show. Mariners outfielder Victor Robles had his suspension for his bat-throwing incident while on a minor league rehab assignment reduced from 10 to 7 games. His suspension starts with tonight's series opener in Cleveland, Seattle's two-back of AL West leading Houston, and holds the third AL wildcard spot.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Football Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Last hour of the week for us. Fired up, you're here with us. If you're looking for coverage tomorrow, we got you covered starting at 1:30. It'll be Eagle 98.1 game day from Rouse's. Charles Hannegriff and Matt Musso for 3 hours getting you ready for LSU and Clemson. At that point, they'll hand it off to the LSU Sports Radio Network. That's me. Brandon Taylor and Marlon Favorite will be with me inside Tiger Stadium at 4:30. We'll go until about 6:30-ish tomorrow. For those that aren't aware, kickoff is at 6:52. If you check your TV guide, it's still going to say 6:30, but they got a lot of pregame that they're going to do there. So 6:52 is when kickoff is. But I'll be on from 4:30 to about 6:30, getting you ready for LSU and Clemson. Then after the game goes final, 30 minutes after the whistle sounds, Brandon, Marlon, and myself back for an hour. And then 90 minutes after the game goes final, Charles Hannegriff and Richard Dixon from right here in studio for Eagle 98.1 Game Day's post-game show. So starting at 1:30 on Eagle 98.1 all the way till the wee hours of the morning on Sunday, we will have you covered for LSU and Clemson. Of course, that's probably the headliner amongst the SEC games outside of Texas and Ohio State. That doesn't mean we're not going to pick them all, though. Beck, before we start, Missouri last night.
That's true.
They were laying what, 38?
39.5.
What was the final?
61-6.
Give it to me. God, you love to hear that sound. 1-0. Will that be our high mark of the year? One game over 500. It could be. We hope it's not. Let's get things started. We're still using the same song, baby. All right, let's do them in chronological order here, and we start in the morning tomorrow with a big one, Texas and Ohio State. The Buckeyes are 1.5-point favorites. Ohio State has 2 new coordinators and a redshirt freshman quarterback. Texas defense, I think, is going to be really good. Anthony Hill's an awesome linebacker. Colin Simmons is going to break out this year on the edge. I think Texas is better than Ohio State. I'm not just going to give Ohio State the benefit of the doubt. It is at home. I think they've got talent, but I think Texas is a little bit more proven. I'll take the Horns plus the 1.5 in the shoe. Syracuse and Tennessee. That game is also at 11 o'clock. It's out in the ATL. Vols are 13.5-point favorites. Joey Aguilar is the starting quarterback for Tennessee. 24 interceptions in 24 games at Appalachian State. For Syracuse, Kyle McCord is gone. He led the country in passing last year. Steve Angeli came in from Notre Dame, beat out Ricky Collins. Here's the deal with Tennessee. They're replacing Nico. They're replacing Dylan Sampson, the SEC Player of the Year. They're replacing Brew McCoy. They're replacing Squirrel Wright. They're replacing 4 offensive linemen. That's a concern for me. Their defense is going to be good, but this is too many points. I like Syracuse against Tennessee. I like them to stay within the 13.5. Give me the Qs and the points. A lot of folks on Southern Miss here. They are hosting Mississippi State. I heard Jimmy and Charlie talking about this one early, and I like their reasoning. Southern Miss has basically got Marshall's entire team from last year that won 10 games at Marshall, now in Hattiesburg. Mississippi State's got to go there. They're laying 13.5. But look, it's an SEC team. I realize they lost to Toledo by 1,000 last year. They ought to be a little bit better. Everybody's thinking they're taking Southern Miss here. I'm going the other way. Give me the dogs. Cowbell, Klanga, Blake Shapen, Shreveport, Mississippi State. Let's go. 13.5. They're laying it. Give me the dogs minus 13.5. Toledo, who team we just mentioned, who crushed Mississippi State last year, they're going to Kentucky, and they're catching 9.5. And I'm not going to analyze this game at all. Kentucky shouldn't be laying 9.5 to anybody. That program is toast. Mark Stoops signed his death warrant in Kentucky when he took the A&M job and then went back. That is over. His day in the sun is done. They're going to be awful again this year like they were last year. They may not even win the game against Toledo. Give me the Rockets in Lexington at the big grocery store. Marshall is at Georgia. That's an afternoon kickoff in Sanford Stadium. As you just mentioned, Marshall lost everybody last year. All I'm asking is that Marshall scores 10 points. If they score 10, Georgia's going to have to score 50, which they can do, but I also think Georgia's going to run the ball a lot. I need Marshall to score 10. Can they do it? I'm going to count on the Thundering Herd with 1 billion new players to score 10 points. Give me Marshall plus 38.5 against Georgia. Bama, Florida State. Here's a big one for you. 2:30 kick our time over in Tallahassee. I think Alabama's going to run the ball a ton. Even without Jam Miller, who's out with the shoulder injury, I think they're going to run it a lot. I think Mike Norvell is a pretty good coach. The 2-10, I'm going to just throw out as an aberration. Maybe 13-0 is too. 2-10 is ridiculous. They're going to be better than that this year. I don't love their quarterback running his mouth, but that half a point seems like a big deal. I'm going to hold my nose here and take Florida State plus the 14.5. I don't love the pick, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm taking a lot of points these days. All right, I'm not taking a side on Alabama A&M at Arkansas, Illinois State at Oklahoma, Long Island against Florida. Still mad about Long Island blowing the regional opener against North Carolina 2 years ago in Chapel Hill that probably cost LSU a chance to go to Omaha. But I'm not picking it because there's no line on it. All those FCS teams, including Charleston Southern at Vanderbilt, I'm not taking any of those games. So let's go to the night slate. UTSA is at Texas A&M. 22.5 is the number. The Aggies are going to run for 300 yards in this game. UTSA's got a good coach. They had a good year last year. I still think Texas A&M is going to run for 300 yards. Whether or not that and running the clock a lot is going to be enough to cover 22.5 remains to be seen. I think it will. I think A&M's pretty good this year. I think they're going to be fired up to play. I think UTSA is somebody they know is pretty good from their state. Give me the Aggies to cover 22.5 in Kyle Field. Georgia State at Ole Miss. Georgia State beat Vanderbilt last year. I think you're all very aware of that. They were still 113th in the country in total defense and 116th in scoring defense. That's not good against Lane Kiffin's offense. Really not good. And I think it's very, very easy to see Ole Miss scoring 60 points in this game. I kind of feel about this game like I did about Missouri last night. Just feels like Ole Miss is going to score a billion. 34.5, is not a ton. I will take Ole Miss. I will lay the points. And then last up here from the ATL, Virginia Tech and South Carolina on Sunday afternoon in Mercedes-Benz. The line on this one is 7.5. South Carolina lost a ton on defense. They've still got probably the best edge rusher in the SEC, and that certainly matters. And they've got the most dynamic player on the field in Lenora Sellers. They don't have Rocket Sanders. I don't know who Sellers is going to throw it to. Are we still going to buy into Nick Harbor at this point just because he's big and runs fast? I don't know. This is another one where that half a point feels impactful. Florida State should smash Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's not good. But the line's only 7.5. Why? I'll take that half a point and feel like South Carolina might win this one by 7. Maybe Virginia Tech gets a backdoor cover. Give me the Hokies to cover against Coach Beamer, 7.5.
Do we need to do Auburn-Baylor? Did you forget about that one?
I forgot about it.
There you go. Auburn and Baylor.
It's at the top of my sheet. Let's do it, because it's tonight. I have a lot of notes on this. I just didn't read it off the sheet. So let's talk about tonight's game, which I'm excited to watch the second half of after dinner. Numbers 2.5. Baylor has 4 offensive line starters back and Sawyer Robertson back who had the 5th best quarterback rating in college football last year. We saw Josh Cameron in the bowl game. He looked very good at wide receiver. I think he's a good player. So I think that Baylor can throw this year. Their defense was terrible last year. Dave Aranda's got to get that fixed. They went to the portal, got a bunch of guys from lower levels. They got to figure something out on defense. If there's anybody I trust to play some defense, it's got to be Dave Aranda, right? Now, Auburn's recruiting rankings blow Baylor out of the water. Hugh Freeze has recruited well there. Cam Coleman is going to have a breakout season at wide receiver. He's going to be awesome. Is Jackson Arnold any good? We did SEC Power Rankings on Wednesday. I don't know if Jackson Arnold's any good. I don't know. So I look at this game, and everyone's saying, well, just hammer Auburn because they got a lot better players. Is their quarterback any good? They're on the road. I know Baylor's quarterback's good. Give me the Baylor Bears. Baylor Bears plus 2.5 on the road. Coach Aranda. Love Coach Aranda. Big-time fan of Coach Aranda. Need Coach Aranda tonight to take out Coach Freeze there on the...
I don't know what they call it.
I can't think of the name of the river.
Oh,
Brazos River?
Yeah, the Brazos. The Brazos. Yeah, Brazos.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
We'll have to look that up at the break. I think that's right. It's a gorgeous setting. Baylor built that new stadium right there on the river. It looks great. I love some good sailgating. I've never done it, but I'm very much would like to get involved on the Vol Navy at Seattle.
Yeah, that's correct. You're right.
Brazos River?
Yep.
How about that? Right there.
I don't know if it's Brazos or Brazos. I'm not
Brazos.
sure.
It's actually Brazos. You know how I know that?
How?
Calling the Texas Collegiate League, Baton Rouge Rougarou.
Oh.
They play the Brazos Valley Bombers.
Man, see that's why you do it, Hunt. So you get all that knowledge.
Gotta pronounce things properly on the radio. I do it wrong all the time, but you'd like to try the Brazos Valley Bombers, so Brazos River. Gotta think that's correct.
It.
All right, those are my picks. We'll run through them one time quickly. Baylor plus 2.5. Baylor plus 2.5. Texas plus 1.5. Syracuse plus the 13.5. Mississippi State laying 13.5. Toledo plus 9.5. Marshall plus 38.5. Florida State plus 14.5. The Aggies laying 22.5. The Rebels laying 34.5. And Virginia Tech plus 7.5. Those are my picks. It could be a monster year. I could be 30 games over 500 by the end of this.
You could be. It's possible.
I am white hot right now.
You are 1-0.
We like that. Tonight, we go to 2-0 with Coach Aranda. We feel good about that. All right, our Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Got a team folks coming over to the house tomorrow to watch some football. Get on by Corks, get some catering, and make everybody happy. If you're just looking for dinner this evening, po' boy, Corks can help you with that. Government between Foster and Jefferson, corksfishandshrimp.com. There is one aspect of this game I have not talked about really at all, and I've saved it for this segment coming up. We'll talk about it coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Safety is a big deal in the bathroom. I was talking to David last week about some of the safety installations that they've done. It's something that he does a significant amount. If you've got a loved one in your life that may be aging, the bathroom could be pretty hazardous, and you want to mitigate against that, call David. Say, hey, let's talk about this. Non-slip floors, walk-in tubs, showers with benches, guardrails at slippery places, all that could be a big, big help and a big, big change in a hazardous area. David and his team are happy to help you with it start to finish. If you're thinking about financing, they've got that. 0% up to 18 months if you qualify for it. Go see some of their great work at OneBathAndClosets.com. You'll see reviews from their satisfied customers, and you can request that free consultation. That part is free to have a discussion. David is happy to do it. It's One Bath and Closets. Check them out online. OneBathAndClosets.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, it's getting close. LSU and Clemson. Tomorrow night, 6:30 is kickoff time. Sorry, that's not even close. 6:52 is kickoff time Central. So if you're looking for coverage tomorrow, we have got you covered really all afternoon into the wee hours of Sunday morning. 1:30 p.m., Eagle 98.1 game day. Charles Hannegriff, Matt Musso from Rouse's 3 hours LSU football coverage. Charlie's been running it for years. He will have you covered tomorrow with Musso at Rouse's. They'll hand it off to me with the LSU Sports Radio Network at 4:30. I will go until probably about 6:20, and then we'll hand you off to the network. It'll be myself, Brandon Taylor, and Marlon Favorite. We'll hand you off to Chris Blair over in Clemson. 30 minutes after it goes final, we're on the post-game show on the network. Be about an hour. Myself, Marlon, Brandon breaking it down. And then 90 minutes after the game goes final, Eagle 98.1 Games Day's post-game show, Charles Hannegriff and Richard Dixon from right here in studio. So lots of coverage coming your way tomorrow starting at 1:30. All right, let's talk LSU Clemson. Been a minute since we've done that now, and I want to get back into it. And I have not spent a lot of time on this aspect of this game. We have talked a lot about the quarterbacks. They're both very good. We have talked a lot about the receivers. They are very good. We have talked about the loss of A.J. Haulcy, which is significant to LSU, but I don't think crippling. We've talked about Clemson's studs on the defensive front and their linebackers that have been very productive. I think LSU's defense is primed for a monster year, returning to the elite in college football. But one aspect of this game that we have not discussed on this show enough, in my opinion, which is why I kind of want to end the week with it, is LSU has to run the ball. You have to. And not only do you have to be productive in the ground game, you've got to commit to it. And the feeling is that LSU did not commit to the ground game enough. Now, whether you want to determine that LSU's rushing statistics stunk because they didn't commit to it, or they didn't commit to it because they stunk at it, that is open for interpretation. But I can tell you that there are people that believe that LSU did not commit to the running game enough in that building last year. And you look at the statistics, and this is borne out. LSU ran the ball 373 times last year. That is dead last in the Southeastern Conference. Second to last is Auburn, who ran it 404 times. If you don't want to do math behind your steering wheel, I'll help you. Auburn was second to last in the SEC in rush attempts. They still ran the ball 31 more times. 31 more times than LSU and played one fewer game. 31 fewer attempts over the season and played one fewer game. If you want to look at attempts per game, LSU, of course, is dead last there at 28 per game. Georgia was second to last at 30 per game. Auburn, third to last at 33 per game. So Auburn's running it 5 more times. And if you want to go to the middle of the pack, which was Arkansas, Arkansas was running the ball 9 more times per game than you. If you want to go towards the top of the league, Tennessee is running the ball 16 more times per game than you. Now, I realize they had the best rushing attack in the SEC, and LSU did struggle at times to run it. But you cannot compete for a championship with this roster if you don't commit in some way to the run. And I can hear you. What do you mean? Georgia got to the semifinal last year, and they were second to last in the league. I got it. But your program's not quite where Georgia's is. From a personnel perspective and from a skins-on-the-wall defensive coaching perspective, you don't have what Georgia has. You need to be a little bit more traditional in the way that you handle it. So what you have to be entering this game with Clemson is committed to running the ball, even if you get tackled for loss a few times. That cannot deter you. You can't bang your head into a wall for 4 quarters, but you also can't tuck your legs and quit after 2 drives. You have to try to run the ball. Now, I have asked folks on the Clemson beat how a defensive front that has 2 guys projected to go in the first round of the draft, Peter Woods, TJ Parker, can get eviscerated on the ground consistently last year. And the thought from the Clemson media is, well, terrible defensive coordinator. Tom Allen's come in, he'll fix the whole thing. That may be true, but it may not be true. It may not be true. They may be great pass rushers who are not great run stoppers. What do you need to do against great pass rushers that are not great run stoppers? Run the ball. There is a thought that Clemson's defensive front last year was too anxious to get up the field, too anxious to leave a gap assignment to try to win into the backfield. And sometimes when you do that, you vacate a hole. And if there are offensive linemen and running backs savvy enough to use that over-aggressiveness, that flaw in technique to create lanes, there you go. Louisville did it. The Citadel did it. Texas did it. South Carolina did it to an extent. Lenore Sellers did a lot of that, and LSU doesn't have that gear. But they can hand the ball off like those teams did. I will tell you this. I know 2 things. I know them. I'm not guessing, I know these 2 things. LSU spent a ton of time in the spring and in the fall in overhauling the scheme of their running game. They are doing things in a different way than they've done the last few years. With Jaden, it was a whole different kettle of fish. It's just not comparable. But last year to this year is. And they have changed the way they are operating from a running perspective. There's more misdirection. There is some under center. There are gadgets with Juwan Johnson. There are gadgets with Xavion Thomas. Garrett Nussmeier is going to tuck the football a little bit more often than he did last year. He's not going to become a 600-yard rusher, but he can pick up 3rd and 4. And I know this to be true. And I also know that there's a feeling in that football operations center that they've got to do a better job of committing to the run. You can't finish this year 16th in the SEC in rushing attempts. You can't finish this year in the SEC 15th or 14th in rushing touchdowns. And here's the deal with this game. You've got a new offensive line. We know this. It's going to be really loud in there. We know this. What's easier to do for a young offensive line, an inexperienced offensive line, in a very, very loud stadium? Is it easier to fire off the football and hit somebody against a defensive line that was almost worse than the ACC in run defense? Or is it easier to sit on your heels, stare at the football, wait for the snap, then turn your head back up and try to pass block TJ Parker and Peter Woods? It's an easy answer. They've got to find a way to knock Clemson out of the way sometimes. I am not asking for them to run for 292 yards like Texas did. That's unrealistic. I'm asking for a commitment to the run, for Caden Durham to get 18 to 22 carries in this game, for Caden Durham to get a couple, for Harlan Berry to get a couple. I'm told he will play tomorrow. Expect Harlan Berry to touch the football. And they've got to commit to it and just get that 3 or 4 yards when you can. LSU didn't average nothing on the ground. They got 4.1 yards per carry. They were only 11th in the league in that metric. They weren't dead last. And there may be something to what we saw in camp where, loss of 1. Yep. 2-yard gain. Yep. Loss of 4. 60-yard run. And LSU busted some of those last year. Durham got loose twice against South Carolina, partly because he made guys miss on tackles. But first play of the game against Alabama, Durham, right off the right side, busted it down the sideline. Those plays were there sometimes for LSU last year. You've got to commit to them even when there's stuff in the run. You've got to keep Clemson's pass rushers on their heels. And I am not convinced, to reinforce, I am not convinced that Clemson's defensive coordinator was such a buffoon last year that he so grossly mismanaged this defensive line that they're now completely cured of the issues that they had last year stopping the run. I don't think Tom Allen waved a wand in the spring and fall camp and now they're just elite run stoppers. Their scheme may be better. They may get better at it, but there are some warts there that I'm confident are still there. You have to try to run the ball. Use Caden Durham, use Caleb Jackson, use Harlan Berry, use Juwan Johnson, use Xavion Thomas. Run the ball 30 times in this game. I know it's easy to lean back on a fifth-year quarterback who threw for 4,000 yards. It's easy to call plays for Aaron Anderson and Barryon Brown and Chris Hilton. But if you get too sucked into doing that and you let Clemson pin their ears back, I watched that movie in College Station last year, and it sucks. I don't want to watch it again. Because you let Nick Scorton and that ferocious pass rush know what was coming, and even with a great pass-blocking offensive line, in that environment, with that noise against those pass rushers, the bottom fell out. You cannot get to that point. I'm not asking you to go 3 and out every time, banging your head against the wall, trying to run it on first and second down every time. But there's got to be a commitment to the run. And I'm confident that LSU is going to Clemson, South Carolina with that in mind. Whether or not they can execute it, I can't tell you that. But that is going to be very much front and center of what they're trying to do. We'll see if they can make it happen. It's an offensive line that didn't do a great job of blocking for the run when we were out there against the LSU defense. I'm suggesting that LSU defense with Jack Pyburn and Jacobian Guillory and Bernard Gooden and then Jamari Butler and Gabe Relaford is just tough to block. And Clemson's is going to be too. But I know Clemson's guys couldn't stop the run last year, and it's the same guys that were out there last year. This is a new LSU group that I think is just really good. So we'll see. That's my last kind of breakdown on this game between LSU and Clemson coming up on Saturday night. I do have my pick. It's coming up at the end of the show. I've got everybody's picks coming up on the station in our station survey that'll be live every Saturday morning on LouisianaSports.net. If you're looking for coverage of the LSU-Clemson game, preview the LSU-Clemson game, you're just chomping at the bit to watch this thing tomorrow night, and you want all the content you can get, there's a lot at LouisianaSports.net on Thursday. So yesterday, I did 3 matchups to watch. I wrote a column today on LSU's defense. There's thought on Garrett Nussmeier, talking about how I think he's benefited this fall camp from playing against a good defense that's put some pressure on him and covered a little bit better. That's been a more comfortable learning environment. Well, shouldn't say it's been more uncomfortable, a better learning environment this year as opposed to years past where the offense just went up and down the field on the defense. I think that's going to help, and I think it's a sign that LSU's defense is good. I wrote about that. Also got a story out about the confidence of the defense on LouisianaSports.net. All you got to do is go to LouisianaSports.net and click on teams and then click on LSU. Then you get a page that's just all LSU content. If that's all you want, you can find it there for free. That's our written avenue, LouisianaSports.net. Our Friday shows brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. We'll take a time out. When we come back, we'll get into some take it or leave it. My pick, 25 minutes from now.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is that website. Storm season. In fact, today is 20 years since Hurricane Katrina made landfall back in 2005. Obviously, that's about as bad as it's gotten around here, and we never hope that happens again. But you understand the risks living here in this part of the world and that hurricanes show up this time of year. Make sure your insurance policy is ready to respond. Maybe after a hurricane, you won't be able to work for 10, 12 days. What does that do to your bottom line? If your business interruption limit is incorrect, or there's a 1/12 monthly limitation on it, so you don't get paid out in full, that sounded great when you paid the premium up front because you cut a corner. Now you're going to pay for that on the back end because you didn't have the right coverage. That's not going to happen to you at the Highland Insurance Group. Jonathan Carbo and his team are experts in coverage, and they will make sure not only that you're paying the proper premium, but that your coverage is set up to respond properly to a hurricane, to a car accident, to a lawsuit, to an injury, whatever the case may be. It's the Highland Insurance Group. They're based right here in Baton Rouge. Find them online at HighlandIG.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool.
You're listening to The Hun Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, got 25 minutes left here. My final pick for LSU and Clemson coming up at the end of the show. Beck, how are we feeling about Auburn-Baylor tonight? That's a juicy Friday night matchup. I like it.
I do. I really like it. I agree with everything you said about Baylor. Sawyer Robertson, yes, very good quarterback for the Big 12.
He played well in the bowl game last year.
Yeah, he did. Baylor's defense, was really bad.
Awful.
It's just really weird how Dave Aranda, who's a really good defensive coach, I guess just being a head coach just makes it to where he can't spend as much time as he would like, I guess, on the defense. So
I would have a slightly different take on that.
Well, maybe also he doesn't have the talent that LSU had. That probably is a factor as well.
I know he's really good with if he's got Chason and Shelvin and Rashard Lawrence.
That helps.
He's got Patrick Queen, Jacob Phillips, Derek Stingley, Christian Fulton, Grant Delpit. If he's got that crew, he's really good.
That's true. Yeah. So maybe Dave Aranda isn't a great defensive coach. He just had good players. I don't know. I would err on the side of being that he is still a good coach defensively, but.
I believe that too.
Yes, but yes, I love that. I love that pick for Baylor there. I think that's an easy one.
An easy one.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people suggesting, Chris Marlar being one of them, just hammer Auburn. They've
Jackson
got all the
Arnold
4 and 5
is so
stars.
bad. He's so bad, Hunt.
He could be bad.
He was really bad at Oklahoma. Why would he be any better at Auburn?
Wow, that Oklahoma offense last year, my God.
It was bad, but still, like they had some.
Still think about that Bauer Sharp throwing the ball in Tiger Stadium.
Oh,
just
man.
a tough scene. Yet Alabama went to Norman last year and just got their butts kicked.
Somehow, that's one of the more mind-boggling.
I don't feel like that would have happened if Coach Saban was calling the shots in Tuscaloosa.
Probably not.
Just a hunch on that one. Shout out Coach DeBoer. Hope you get crushed in Tallahassee tomorrow. And I hope Chris Marlar's not listening, so that'll make him sad. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
I mean, I can't think of a better time than to go grab a 6-pack of beers right now. It's a long weekend. It's a football weekend. There's great football tonight. There's great football tomorrow. The Tigers are on TV. There's great football on Sunday. And you probably don't have to work on Monday. So go grab a Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. It's still summertime. It's still scorching hot. And this is the light beer that you're going to want to take down. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, oldest brewery in America. All that beer flavor, all the things you like about a light beer. It's Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
All right, first one. The winning quarterback of LSU Clemson will be the Heisman betting favorite on Monday. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. It's very possible. But if Arch goes for 400 yards, then you are not going to get there. And I can also see a scenario where, like, Lenore Sellers just torches Virginia Tech on Sunday when everybody's watching that game. So it's very possible. If Klubnik or Nussmeier looks great, their team looks great, and they throw for 325 and 3 scores and no picks, absolutely it's possible. But I'll bet the opposite side of it.
Yeah, I'd go with you there as well. Our next one, Jack Pyburn will equal his Florida sack total on Saturday. Take it or leave it.
I will take it. He's just got to get one. He's got to get one sack.
Yeah, I think he can get one.
That'll do it. And as I've said many times, I think Pyburn is destined for a monster year this year. Maybe it's just because he's very confident when we talk to him. But I just feel really good about where he is in his college development. I think he's going to be great, and I think he will get back there and get a sack on Saturday night.
All right, next one. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit on the call. Take it or leave it?
I'll take it. I don't know. It might be the good vibes from them calling LSU and Clemson in the Dome. for the national championship. I know that a lot of us, and I put us because I was very much in that number, watched the highlights or the full game a lot during COVID because there was nothing else on TV, and you want to pull up the old YouTube and watch LSU highlights from the greatest season you've ever seen. You got a lot of Herbstreit and Fowler on that. I think they both do a very good job. I think Herbstreit's really good on the analyst side, and I think Fowler does a great job. He yells a lot, but I'm okay with yelling a lot, so I'm good with that. Give me some good juju from the national championship game. Hopefully they've got a lot of good things to say about the purple and gold on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. They're both very good at the top of their profession, no question. So glad to see them on the call. Next one, Kirk Herbstreit will cry on set Saturday. Take it or leave it.
I mean, that's the
easiest one. Yeah,
for sure.
Might be the easiest one we've ever done.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of Corso stuff on Saturday morning. You know what? I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I don't have to see the 38th breakdown of Texas versus Ohio State on the edge. I'm not just desperate to see Tennessee's offense broken down or what the new transfers from Florida State are going to do against Alabama. Like, I'm not dying for it. So if they need to celebrate Lee Corso's phenomenal career on the game day set for half the show tomorrow, I'm fine with that. And ultimately, Herbstreit's going to cry a lot. That is certainly the case. I'm a little perplexed that Herbstreit's flying all over the place private with his dog, and Corso is at the Southwest Terminal. Did you see this video?
I didn't see that.
The gate agent got on the microphone and was giving almost a eulogy of Corso.
Okay.
At the local airport while he was waiting to get on a commercial flight. Get the guy on a private plane. He's old. Get him on the plane.
Yeah, that's true. I can't see why. Or maybe he's a man of the people, hon. He just likes to fly Southwest, perhaps.
Private aviation. Get him on a private plane. That needs to happen. He's 90.
He is 90 years old. That's correct. All right, next one. Notre Dame wins on the road at Miami. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to take it.
I'll take it.
I'm going to take it. This is probably the wrong pick. Miami's at home. Beck is a more proven commodity as a quarterback.
I agree.
I just think Mario Cristobal stinks.
Yeah, he's not
a bad
good.
coach.
Not good.
And I think Marcus Freeman's better, and I think their defense is still going to be good because he's a great defensive coach. I think they'll figure out a way to run the ball, and I think they'll beat Miami. I don't have a bit of analysis beyond that. I just think that I don't trust Mario Cristobal to win a big game.
Me neither.
There we are.
All right, next one. Dry August. Take it or leave it.
I guess I'll take it. We just wrapped it up. We're gonna. I've got 12 Flight by Yinglings in my fridge now.
So wait, hold on. What are we doing, hon? Are you telling me that are you gonna be drinking beer tomorrow?
After the game.
But tomorrow is August 30th, huh?
Yeah, but it's the weekend.
No, that's incorrect. This is Dry August, not Dry August minus 2 days.
Weekdays.
No.
I've done enough. That's enough.
What have you gained from this, huh?
I lost a lot of weight.
Okay, and do you not think that after this you're just going to start drinking more beer again?
So I've got a checks and balances. I also quit eating, and I ran every morning at 5 o'clock. I'm going to weigh every Friday now to try to stay a little bit more. I can't do what I just did for the last 26 days, 28 days, whatever it is. That was it's not a lot of fun, but it's effective.
Yeah.
But I want cold beers. I had some no alcohol beverages, which were quality. I did like that on the grill at the pool with Myers. I enjoyed that, but I need a cold pop. And going 4 weeks without a cold pop is just a tough scene. So
it is, but you signed up for it, huh?
Tonight we're going to dinner. I'm excited to have some cold beers, maybe a cocktail.
Wow.
Just tomorrow I got to do the show and post game. But after post game, which will be at 1 o'clock in the morning, I will certainly pour a cocktail. I miss it. There's a lot of people that go, I sleep so much better. I feel so much better. I don't know about any of that. I lost a ton of weight.
Well, also, you weren't an alcoholic. I think that's maybe some people that drink way too much and then stop probably feel a lot better. But yes,
I think to put this to, I think I'm going to do it every year. I think I can do we don't go and get vacation in August. I don't have a birthday in August in my family. There's
beach is a possibility in August.
But I go to there's practice every weekend, so I'm I'm working on most of the weekends.
That's true.
It's just I did July last year. I can't do July.
No,
you got SEC Media Days.
Too hot.
All that is drinking beers.
Yeah.
I've got vacations, 4th of July. No. August I can lock in and just have a long month of no calories, no alcohol, and running a bunch. Not my favorite way, to do a month, but it was effective.
Yeah, and maybe next time you'll actually abide by the entire month and not just end it.
Depends on when the weekend is.
We'll see.
It's a holiday weekend. We're cracking back into it.
All right, last one. The Shark Dogs, which of course is Myers Palmer's soccer team, +5 tomorrow morning.
Oof.
That's a big line, huh?
It is a big line. The 4-year-olds took it to them last week. They're 3. It's tough.
That's
the Shark Dogs. To their credit, they scored 7 goals on Saturday. Just 3 of them were in the wrong goal.
Oh, hey, look, that happens.
It does happen. You get on a.
It happens even on the highest stage. We have on goals all the time.
You get a fast break opportunity. If it's the wrong goal, it's just the wrong goal.
It's
you put it in. But Myers man does not like when the other team scores. That does not make him very happy.
Good.
So we'll see what happens. I would have to not take the Shark Dogs.
Hey, look, you know what, Hunt? I'm taking
I'll take it.
I've seen some tape on Myers, and he looks like an absolute natural. I think he's going to be the next great soccer star to come out of the United States.
A parent said yesterday, it was actually Coach Kirk said, Myers is going to play soccer. He's going to be a soccer guy. He's not playing baseball.
He is.
I don't think that's true.
Look,
I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm telling you, watching the tape, Hunt, he's got some real natural ability. He's going to be
the Shark
a good
Dogs
one.
have a commitment issue with some of the members of the
That's
squad.
not good.
Some
You
are a
can't
little
have
bit
that.
more. Some are a little bit. I just, whenever I watch Team USA play, I don't see as many players on my TV that want to stay with their moms and dads on the sideline and cry when they go on the field.
Yeah.
It's a tough to overcome
It
out
is.
there for the Shark Dogs.
It is, but I think they're going to. 5 is a lot, Hunt. I'm taking the Shark Dogs on that one.
Hopefully there are cupcakes again after the game. Myers enjoyed that as well. He likes scoring goals. He does not like coming out of the game. We have to really work on that.
Yeah,
and
that's tough.
does not like when the other team scores goals.
That's good, though. That's good.
He didn't catch on that they lost. So he said, "Did we win?" I was like, "Yeah, definitely." They did.
Hey, look. I mean,
the 4-year-olds took it to him. I think they lost by like 8.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. You got a whole other year. They got a whole year under their belts.
That's the beauty of it. You come back the next week. You watch the tape. You come
That's
out
how
there.
you get
play
better, Hunt.
So the Shark Dogs are gonna take the pitch tomorrow.
Awesome.
9 a.m.
Nice.
Lock in.
I might have to come swing by a few of those games, Hunt. I mean, I think it's going to be good stuff.
Come on out and see them. We only have 2 jerseys. We got the red jersey and the white jerseys. Tomorrow, we're the red.
You don't even have a blue jersey and you're the Shark Dogs? Wouldn't your colors not be blue?
I think every team in the league has a red jersey and a white jersey.
Okay.
You just pick which time you wear red, which time you wear white. We're in red tomorrow, so we'll see. All right. We got one thing left to do. That's a final pick. It's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that is on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. We're an online society, right? Get everything delivered to you. You don't even go in the stores anymore. And Genesis of Baton Rouge can help you out with that if that's the way you want to operate. They've got every single car in the inventory online. You can look at them, see pricing, check out all the features, see photographs. And if you decide there's one that suits your fancy, you want to test drive it, you don't have to go to the lot for that. They'll come to you. They'll come to your home. They'll come to your office, and you can test drive with one of their brand ambassadors. If you decide at that point, yeah, this is the one I need, well, that's fine. You don't have to go to the dealership for that either. They've got e-contracts. They can deliver the vehicle to you wherever you are. Easy as that. They make life easy on you at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Once you make that transaction and you're a Genesis driver, you don't have to go to the dealership for service either. They come to you, take the car in. Just life as a Genesis driver. If you've never gotten behind the wheel of a Genesis, make that decision coming up. Put them on your list. Airline at Pico, across from Women's Hospital. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. As I mentioned, check out that entire inventory at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, let's do some housekeeping here. If you missed any of the show today, you can catch it on demand wherever you find your sounds. Search Hunt Palmer Show. Full shows available. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and of course on YouTube as well. If you're just looking for LSU, Hunt on LSU. Got all our LSU segments wherever you find your podcast, and of course on YouTube as well. Hunt on Saints for all your Saints content. Subscribe up to those channels. Always helps us get our content in front of as many people as we can, and it gets it to you immediately when we publish it. A couple of LSU videos just about every single day. Saints video every day as well. Hunt on LSU and Hunt on Saints. And then tomorrow, getting you caught up for our broadcast schedule. 1:30, Matt Musso, Charles Handegriff, Eagle 98.1 game day from Rouse's. They'll go for 3 hours until 4:30. That's when the LSU Sports Network takes over. That is me. I'll be alongside my partners in crime, Brandon Taylor and Marlon Favorite, for 90 minutes until we throw it to Clemson, South Carolina. They'll have the call of the game, Chris Blair, Jacob Hester, and Gordy Rush. 30 minutes after it goes final, back to me, Brandon, and Marlon for an hour-long post-game on the network. And then 90 minutes after the game goes final, Charles Handegriff and Richard Dixon from right here in studio, Eagle 98.1 game day. So starting at 1:30 tomorrow, lock us in all afternoon, all evening, into the wee hours of the morning for all your LSU and Clemson coverage. Looking very, very much forward to getting back in action on a game day tomorrow. All right, that's all we can do. Feels like, kind of a long time since LSU put the pads on to start fall camp, and it's finally here. It's LSU and Clemson. It is the best opponent that LSU has played in a season opener probably since 2011. You can make the case that Florida State team 2 years ago was very, very good, and I would listen to that case for sure. That Oregon team was very, very good in Dallas in 2011, just off a national championship loss to Auburn. And it's going to take a lot of effort for LSU to go there and win. Here is where I stand on both sides of the ball very briefly for LSU. I think the offense has incredible skill positions, and I'm concerned very much about the offensive line. They have to let those guys try to run block a little bit and sustain some sort of running game against a Clemson front that was gashed last year. That has to happen. If it does, LSU is going to have advantage matchups on the outside. But if it doesn't, and those Clemson pass rushers can pin their ears back, Nussmeier is going to be under duress, and that's when he can make mistakes and drives will stall. As far as Clemson on offense, Klubnik is very, very good. I think this LSU defense is going to be elite. I think it's going to be one of the best defenses in the Southeastern Conference. I think it will be one of the best defenses in college football. Losing A.J. Haulcy is significant, but I think they've got depth that can mask that for a half. But K. Klubnik is going to get his. He's got 3 stud wide receivers. And they're going to throw the ball around a little bit, and they're going to get their first downs. But I think LSU is going to come to play defensively. I have said this from the start when breaking down this game. On this show, written at LouisianaSports.net, talked about it on Clemson Radio when I've been a guest. This is a game that I believe is going to go under. This is a game that I believe is going to be a battle of defenses. And I think it's going to be close late. Most people are picking Clemson to beat LSU. Clemson's a favorite. This game is on the road in Memorial Stadium. I get all of that. I picked Florida State to beat LSU 2 years ago. Last year, I really felt like LSU was in trouble in their secondary against Southern Cal. I picked LSU to win. I did it reluctantly. I'm picking LSU to win tomorrow. And I'm picking LSU to win tomorrow because I think the LSU defense is going to rise to the occasion and make things very difficult on Clemson. And I think LSU, with a veteran quarterback, will do just enough on offense to get it done. It's not going to be an up and down the field game. This is not Klubnik and Nussmeier going up and down the field. My final score prediction in this game is LSU 20, Clemson 17. I'm sincerely hoping that's the case. We're back here on Monday on a holiday, breaking it down. We've done that for a few years. It's been pretty somber around here. Let's change that on Saturday night. Come on, Tigers. We'll see you Monday. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle.